Aloha. You're watching Ericsson Enterprise Wireless Solutions Threat Intelligence Hotshots. This is week 9. We got this side. Where's this side? We got some new signage, some new backgrounds, some new colors, but we got the same excellent guest, Alex Ryan, who's part of now Ericsson's threat intelligence and research team. I'm still wearing my Cradlepoint shirt, and the only reason is to quickly, once again, make you aware of the Cradlepoint YouTube channel. It's where we'll be posting all of our fun stuff. Isn't that right, Alex? So if you
That's
haven't
right.
heard, Cradlepoint bought Ericom, and then Ericom became the cybersecurity unit at Cradlepoint. And then previous to that, Ericsson bought Cradlepoint. And so then we were Cradlepoint, part of Ericsson. But now, and this has been all in the plan, so, no secrets to us. And now we're officially Ericsson, the enterprise wireless division of Ericsson. I think we're all excited. I like the blue. But this, of course, every week we're on episode 9, and this is our weekly hot shots. Thanks for updating the slide there, Alex, for week ending June 28th. What do we got going on, Alex?
All right. So I wanted to talk about an idea that I had earlier this week. So I hope that you guys find it interesting, but also I'd really like to hear folks' input or feedback around these thoughts, just to see, am I totally off the wall, or am I onto something here? So what I wanted to talk about was data consolidation and mining of breached data. So earlier in this year, in January, there was found a treasure trove of data, 12 terabytes of data that have been consolidated across multiple data breach instances. So you can see that data consolidation. And it's not a leap to say that data mining by threat actors would happen with that data. And then to say again, perhaps they're using AI, right? And large data, big data, analytics to mine this information. So I sort of got this idea of, well, what are they doing with all of this data breach information? So, just last week we had Synovus, who was a third-party supplier with NHS. Their ransomware took down NHS and had a lot of implications, but also a lot of their data was stolen. And then it was published online when they didn't pay the ransom. Okay, so I'm thinking to myself, what are they doing with my medical records? How do they monetize the fact that I have type A blood? So thinking about this, what I realized is that there's something called pretexting, which I hadn't thought about for quite a few years, that word pretexting. But when I went back to the Verizon 2024 data breach and incident response report, they talked about how 40% of social engineering uses pretexting.
Yep.
Where did they get that information from? From the data breaches, which they then consolidate, data mine, and create a legitimate context when they call you. So that's a very powerful technique. And so this was sort of something I wanted to bring up, because our users are becoming more and more susceptible to social engineering through no fault of their own. Ascension Healthcare also this month was breached, and they said an employee downloaded a file, right? And that's why the breach happened. And I'm like, whoa. One person downloaded a file and that was a ransomware infection? No, right? We do defense in depth. There should have been many places where defenses were in place to stop a ransomware infection from a file download, right? That's a long attack life cycle. But our users are just, we can't ask them to be the guardians of stopping ransomware when this level of sophistication is increasing, right? Our level of confidence with user protection has got to go down because the sophistication of your threat actor is going up. So this is my theory, and this is what I want to hear back from folks. Do you agree with that? Do you think that's off the wall? Or there are other parameters that I'm not considering in this? But that was really my takeaway this week.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure with AI, they can grab all this stuff and build an entire profile. Heck, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these bad actors have Salesforce running in the background and they're tracking these particular targets over time. And we've seen it before, right? Where somebody they get frustrated with the first person, and then they send you off to the next guy. He looks up the information. But it also kind of shows, back in January on one of our earlier episodes, you were talking about how ransomware as a whole, and just looking at this 2024, halfway through 2024, almost 2,000 breaches for ransomware. So you're spot on that this stuff, hey, I mean, it wasn't that hard to maybe decipher and conclude, but certainly ransomware is growing badly. And this stuff is also obviously used. We talk a lot about phishing here, but spear phishing is when they do take your hobbies and whatnot. And by the way, Alex, I might have a perfect supplement for you for this type A blood, because it'll allow your blood to flow a little bit more good and this and that. So just, I need your social to get you into the system to then get you this perfect supplement for your type A blood.
Right. So I just wanted to show just a quick graph. Like sometimes it's easier to visualize. I didn't have enough ink to put, the 2,000 red blobs on this chart or on this graph. But just look at the different types of data that we've got going on here. So we've got the big guns, right? We've got JP Morgan Chase and Ticketmaster and Trust Bank. So I can really figure out how threat actors are going to monetize that, right? So it's going to be financial fraud, using information as authentication information, like your mother's maiden name or something like that. If they are able to grab passwords, right? Password reuse is common, and so credential stuffing, right? So all of that makes sense to me. But we have things like Roku. So Roku has all of your preferences for your viewing. What movie did you watch last week? And while you're sort of like, okay, Alex, why would anyone care that I watched, Old Boy, which is a Korean film, from about 20 years ago. So why would one care? Well, that piece of information by itself, no problem. But then you combine it with all of the other information, then it becomes much more powerful for pretexting.
Yep,
You
absolutely.
could call me and you could say, oh, I saw that you loved Old Boy. Here's some other Korean movies. Just click on this link and it'll take you to the list.
Yeah. And if you're not careful, you probably end up clicking, just because we all click away.
We all click away. We do.
Click it. These look like a bunch of clicks too, for crying out loud.
Okay. So this is Alex's mind map, right? This is the where does it go? Where does the money go? Follow the money, right? And so what I began to find, so at the top you've got, so you've got consolidated data. Okay, great. I've got a database. Sounds great. What do I do with it? First of all, there's credential theft. Okay, we know this very well. Authentication information, username and password, sell it to initial access broker, boom, dollars. Well, we've got extortion as well. Okay, great. Now, corporate extortion, we talk about a lot, right? You pay the ransom, boom, dollars.
Yeah.
What about extorting the individual? Does that happen? It does. There are 4 instances this year where, due to the data breach, people started receiving calls where the threat actor was extorting them for the information that they had sold. And so you're really seeing this dribble down or trickle down to different kinds of threat actors, right? There's tiers of them. There's the big game hunters. There's the scamming call centers, right? So there's this hierarchy of what threat actors will use what information for, obviously malicious intent. But what became clear to me is, look at the social engineering data elements that are in this monetization of this data. So that was really what became clear for me after I saw this, right, is taking that information, profiling that user, being able to extort them. A really fun one, right, was, okay, I see that somebody has a large amount of financial debt. What if I get in touch with them and find out if they want money and they perhaps can just give me their username and password to their corporate account, right? Becoming
Yeah.
an insider, a malicious insider.
Yeah, or just
Um,
plug in this USB for me and I'll pay, 10 grand and you'll be all
just
set.
plug it in and walk away, man. It's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. Don't worry. It wasn't you. You didn't do anything wrong. You just plugged the USB in. So that kind of
Nice.
thing. And then there's corporate
Oh,
espionage information that's stolen by corporations, those kinds of things. So just a lot of different types of data to think about.
yeah, and they can even use the AI to just strip out username and password. So it's not as if they got to go through each one. Oh, what is it again? No, they got run tools. Now you did your own digital footprint, didn't you, Alex?
Did. So while I was researching this, I came across Malwarebytes digital footprint um, generator. And so, of course, I put my personal email in, which is why everything is blacked out. And it's creepy. Like, if you want to creep yourself out, go put your email into here. And it will show you all of the information that it has gathered from different public data sources, right? To profile me or show my interrelated accounts, right? So if
Yeah.
I'm Alex Ryan at Ericsson, and then that's associated with my personal email, which is also then associated with maybe the sock puppets, which are like anonymous accounts that we researchers use, right, on different kinds of platforms, personas, if you will, right? And what if they realize what my personas are, and then they're able to feed me malicious information that then I use in my corporate, daily life. So it sounds far-fetched. I know it does. But with the power of AI, it's really possible. It's quite efficient.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna probably I don't know if I want to try this now, but I think
Of course you do.
I probably should and I will. But yeah, being able to, you know, put it all together, that then creates that authentic email to Alex who likes Korean dramas and has type A blood. Like see in the last 12 minutes, we've created a profile for you that we could then potentially send off a malicious email to get you clicking because we got the perfect solution for those type of people. We always in the past, I didn't do it this week, but in the past, I've generally like closed out the slides before we got our sources, but we will always put our sources in the description for all of you. And we'll go back to that one again. I'll make sure you get the Malwarebytes digital footprint. That is scary. Wow. Amazing stuff. No, you're definitely onto something. And maybe in a couple of months we'll maybe revisit this again and run it again to see if maybe there are more little patches that kind of come into fruition just by using that account. I saw something this week where you got to go into your profile and remove anything that has sort of this automatic login to various sites that you're using your Gmail for. So I got rid of a couple of those. Another tip, but we always got tips here. That's the whole point of the weekly hot shots with the Ericsson Enterprise Wireless Threat Intelligence Team. As always, thank you, Alex. Great stuff as
Thank
usual. And thanks
you.
for all of you for watching. If you like this content, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe, like, and share button. For my good pal, Alex, I'm Peter. In the near future, I'll have my Ericom shirts on. Ericom. Oh my God, I'm going to get smacked for that. Ericsson shirts on. And we'll see you again. For Alex, I'm Peter. And we're with Ericsson, the Enterprise Wireless Division.